Hi, I'm Justin Boyd.
Hi, I'm George Luna.
Hey, I'm Brittany Pacheco.
And I'm the Sentient World Observation Response Department, and you are watching The Watchers in the Basement.
Okay, Frank.
Nice. So we got Sword this week. Last week we had
Ultron.
James Spader's Ultron. Yeah, so that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So welcome to another edition of the Watchers in the Basement, and it's WandaVision Wednesday, so that means we have to talk about WandaVision. And speaking of a special episode, the title of the episode this past Friday was called "On a Very Special Episode." ... Guys, I'm just going to start out from the top, like the big thing that happened in the episode. Quicksilver, Pietro from the X-Men movies is in WandaVision. What do y'all think about this? I'll go to George first. What'd you think about that?
It was pretty wild. I just started thinking about so many things. Like, is everything like the multiverse thing starting already? Which I didn't think it would be, and I still don't think it might be yet. Like bringing the X-Men universe into like the MCU. I don't know. It was pretty crazy to see. I'm not sure what the hell's happening, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I think that, like, to me, my question is kind of like off what you're saying, George, is does this mean that all of the Fox characters are going to be brought into the MCU somehow? I think for sure that the MCU is going to have its own Wolverine before it's all said and done. There's just too much money in that character to not do a whole bunch of new Wolverine stories. But I wonder if they'll somehow work in all these older characters. I really think they will. I think this is the first sign of that. Brittany, what do you think about what happened in WandaVision and about the other universes?
So we talked about it last week about the cameo. It was was going to be on par with this whole Luke Skywalker cameo for Mandalorian. It definitely wasn't, but it really was a really great introduction to merge X-Men coming into Disney MCU, because obviously X-Men is MCU. I thought that was very well done. I would have expected it to be at the very end. So the fact that we caught it in the middle of the season was really interesting, and I'm very, very curious as to how this is all going to play out. I do have a lot of questions in regards to this, and we'll get into it later. But the fact that we have a multiverse, I'm pretty convinced we have a multiverse, and that will go into a bigger discussion later on. But yeah, I thought it was a great introduction, and I literally was like this the entire time as she's opening the door, and I'm just like, oh my god, it's finally happening. And I don't know, it was a great way to just bring these two franchises, but you know what I'm trying to say, bring it into the fold. So Frank, what were your thoughts? This had to have blown your mind.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. And I'm really happy it was this Quicksilver and not the Marvel Disney Quicksilver. I feel like the Fox Quicksilver is more funny, he's more engaging. So seeing him now unfold in the Marvel Cinematic Disney Universe, I think it's gonna be super dope. But it just really just shows you how powerful she is as Scarlet Witch. Like, she's bringing back the dead now, and like I don't know how they're gonna explain whether or not.
Is she though?
I mean, well, I know we'll get to that later on in the show, but like, if she brought back, if the story goes, if she brought back Quicksilver from the dead, just recasted him, that could be an indication of like what other powers she may have or she hasn't come across yet. But I'm very, very happy about Quicksilver being in this universe. I think it's gonna play a huge part of bringing back all the Fox characters and different characters from the Fox properties. And I think Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness movie is gonna play an indicator in that as well. So very, very excited about what's to come.
I agree.
And I think that while we're talking about that, we might as well just go into this. Like, do we think that she's in control of everything? Because there's a part at the end where she's spotting, where her and Vision are having this kind of verbal fight, and she says, "I don't know how any of this started in the first place." And I mean, like, the way she says it, I think you're meant to believe that she doesn't know. You know what I mean? Like, what did y'all think about that part? Do y'all think that, like, do you think that she brought the Pietro from the X-Men movies, who I guess he wasn't even called Pietro in the X-Men movies, he was Peter and Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Like, do you think she brought him, or do you think the fact that this week's episode of WandaVision was set in the 80s, and that version of Quicksilver was in the 80s from what Days of Future Past or whatever? Was that the reason why he was brought to this? You know what I mean?
So if this is what I think, and y'all, take it as you like and agree or not disagree. The fact that Rambo during this episode talked about how Wanda has to rewrite the reality as people are coming in. Rambo, when she got sucked into the hex, she was in 70s garb and whatever, and they brought in that 80s style drone in order to try to capture video of Wanda, and Wanda didn't seem aware of that. So I think with the fact that this Pietro comes from the 80s, he somehow was, I'm very curious how he was able to get into the hex first and foremost. But the fact that he didn't need to be rewritten, because that's already the setting that we first saw him in, more or less. George, what's your take on this?
I don't even think that I started watching like conspiracy videos and all this stuff on the internet. So I went down like a rabbit hole, and I basically learned that, well, I don't know, if you zoom in into towards the end, when you see him walk into the house, if you look in the mirror, you can't see his reflection.
Oh, wow.
And you can't see his reflection. It just looks like a round, like it looks warped, and it doesn't look real. But you can see Wanda's reflection, and you can clearly see that she's standing there. So it's pretty trippy, and there's theories about it. I don't know if y'all want to jump into that.
It's not like a camera angle, like that kind of thing. Nothing. Okay. Huh.
So I don't know. Supposedly so Agnes or whatever. Supposedly she plays someone from the comic books, and
Right.
she's supposedly a witch or does some shit like that. And supposedly she has something to do with what's happening.
Now that I do believe, because Agnes is also a sorceress in her own right. In the comic book she was. And like, if you notice, she's the only character on the TV show that's pretty much, she's not affected by like any of the magician work that Scarlet Witch does, as far as like her bringing up I think it was like a dog leash or a dog collar, and then the kids aging up by 5 years. She was not affected by it at all. It's like she went along with it.
Exactly.
But I have a question. In the beginning of the episode, when Agnes came into the house because she heard the kids crying from outside, and they're carrying on with what would presumably be a script, and Agnes like kind of stops, breaks character, and she's like, do you want me to take it from the top? Do you want me to go through that again? So if she is a sorceress in her own right, and I know we've kind of talked about this early on, her role in the comic books to Wanda as like a mentor, I mean, it's still Wanda's reality. Like, Wanda is still in control of this.
We don't
know. Agnes?
She could be playing along.
Oh, okay.
But we don't know.
Okay.
So Agnes could just be playing along with this, and for her own reasons, which we don't know yet.
Could she be the true mastermind behind this whole thing?
Maybe. I think that'd be the twist at the end. Maybe it could be.
I don't think she is, because there's a part later in the episode when Sparky the dog dies. The kids find this dog. Yeah, and then she goes. The kids are like, "Hey, Mom, just bring Sparky back. You can do anything. You can fix anything." And Wanda explains to them, she can't do that, or I guess more or less she's saying that she shouldn't do that. But then Agnes is like, "Oh, you can do that?" And she has like a very surprised look on her face.
Yeah, I think she's faking it too, Jay, because supposedly in the comic books she killed that dog.
Okay.
She did. She's the one that killed that dog, and supposedly that kid is like, one of her kids is like telekinetic or whatever, has the powers of the mom. And I don't know if you caught it, like he was training the dog like this and giving him a treat. So supposedly he was like talking to him, and the reason that the dog died or whatever is like she didn't want to give him to them or bring it back is because that kid could like touch or see what that dog did or what it was doing and find out why it died.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hmm.
I kind of took it as
By
because,
the way.
well, he did the like a hand, command. Georgie and I have, dogs. Obviously, we put them in training, but to have him bark, I thought that was kind of like, speak or bark or that. I thought that's what that was, but
Yeah, but he was doing it in his head, like supposedly, like he was
yeah.
talking to him.
Huh. Okay. Interesting. Frank, what's your take on Agnes? Maybe a bigger role of than just participating in Wanda's reality.
Yeah, I think she's gonna be a future adversary of Wanda. Um, if we base anything from the comic books, I do believe she's going along with it. I just it was just too obvious how nonchalant she was anytime Wanda used her powers, and that tells me either she's in on it or she's as powerful as Wanda, but she's just trying to copacetic. So.
Do y'all think that maybe Agnes is the one who brought in Pietro into this show?
That's in my head. I think that might be a possibility, or it's not really him, or she's showing him something. I don't know. I have no idea, but the show's doing a great job at like keeping me hooked on this stuff.
Yeah.
See, I wondered, like, did she even recognize that guy as her brother? Because if they look at each other for a second, and then he says, "Can a big brother or can a brother get a squeeze on his sister or squeeze on his or whatever, like a hug reference?"
He said something about killing. I don't know if you caught that.
No, he said something like he's basically saying like he wanted to squeeze her, but he meant like in a hug. I mean, that's the reference is like a hug kind of way.
I need to read the line because it says like I would kill for something for a hug or something like that.
No, he says, would it kill you to give would it kill you to let, whatever, give you a squeeze or squeeze you or whatever? And then
talked weird in the 80s.
Yeah. Oh, that's almost like not even the 80s kind of. That's kind of a weird, yeah.
It reminded me of like Uncle Jesse or something from like.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. And like he says that, and that's when she goes, because he says he's her brother, that's when she's like, Pietro, like with like question mark, like, so I'm not sure she even knows who he is. I mean, and until he said that he was her brother.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Which is it's very interesting because even in the X-Men universe, it's just Peter. He doesn't have a sister. I mean, he knows that Magneto is his father, but like there's no reference obviously whatsoever of a sister, let alone Wanda or even Scarlet Witch. So it's a very interesting. It'll be very interesting, excuse me, to see how Marvel is going to write this, into this universe.
And Brittany, in the episode, go ahead, George. What are you gonna say?
I had a question for Brittany. So, did you think that this Quicksilver was the big surprise for the season, or do you think there's still more? Because I think there's more.
I do too.
I want to say there's more. I think this is just kind of like that little teaser, if you will. If they're going to bring in other members, let's say from the Fox properties, that would be kind of cool. I'm not quite sure how it would all fit. If they bring in Deadpool here, oh my God, I'm going to lose my damn mind. But I think there's probably something more in store for sure.
I think there's a strange introduction in the finale. There has to be, because both their storylines are going to be tied together. And from what I've read, Scarlet Witch is going to play a big part in Multiverse of Madness. So I think we get a strange appearance.
Twist: Doctor Strange is behind the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, that would be funny.
See, I think actually Magneto's going to be in this show.
That's what
and I think it's going to be Michael Fassbender. I think it's going to be Michael Fassbender's Magneto. I really think so. I think that's what's going to happen.
Fucking explode if I get Michael Fassbender.
That'd be crazy.
And like we're talking about the Doctor Strange movie, and I agree with that because it's called Into the Multiverse of Madness. But there's another movie that's coming out before that that's also dealing with the multiverse, and that's Spider-Man 3. So
Oh, is that before Doctor Strange?
Yeah, Spider-Man's supposedly coming out like around Christmas or holiday time, either Thanksgiving or Christmas of this year.
Really?
Yeah, 2021.
So we'll get a part 2 and part 3 before a part 2 of Doctor Strange?
Yep.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah,
Did you hear that Tom Holland said that Tobey
Oh
Maguire
yeah.
and all of them are not going to be in it?
Yeah, we were talking about that in the news, but we can talk about it now. Yeah, so he denied that they're in the movie. I 100% don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't believe him because he's the dumbest person. Like they always do this stuff to him, and he pulls pranks on people. Like he's done this shit before.
Yeah, I think it's a facade, just like how there's some people that are like, oh, I had no idea that I was even going to be up for this role, Mads Mikkelsen for the replacement for Johnny Depp in Crimes of Grindelwald. I mean, yeah, they're just acting.
It's too late in the game. Like
Yeah.
that information has been out there for so long. Like it's been
Yeah.
out there for 6-7 months or something. Like we've known about this.
Especially if you find the villains. Like
Yeah.
if you know the villains that are gonna be like the Dr. Ock or whatever. They're that.
Is Jamie
Right.
Foxx coming back?
Yeah, he's coming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is. He's coming back too.
Yeah,
God.
Jamie Foxx is confirmed. Walter Molina, who played Doc Ock, he's for sure back. I heard that Willem Dafoe is going to be in the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
I
I mean, this stuff has been out there for I mean, the Willem Dafoe thing came out like last week.
No way.
But-
What about the guy that played Harry, the son to Willem Dafoe?
Oh yeah, I don't know.
I mean, because he died too. So anyway, but
Did he die in Spider-Man 3?
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
stabbed by that. Wait, how did he die?
He his glider was it his glider? Venom took his glider and like he got impaled by his own glider.
mhm.
Didn't his
Okay.
dad die that way too?
Yeah.
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 He laughs. So fucked up.
Hey, if you're an Osborn, just stay away from gliders. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Ozzy, we're talking to you. Anyway.
Right. But no, I mean, that Spider-Man movie is coming out before that, and it's going to deal with the multiverse, obviously, because there's going to be all kinds of crazy stuff in that movie. So I don't think we're going to see a Spider-Man in WandaVision, but I think there's a bigger surprise than Evan Peters playing Quicksilver.
I agree.
Like, no offense to him, but I don't think that's the big surprise that they were teasing.
Nope. I think it's gonna be either Magneto or something else. I don't know. I heard rumor or like theories that it might be they might introduce someone from Fantastic Four.
Oh.
Now that I want to talk about real quick.
Yeah,
So there's a scene where Darcy is talking about
exactly it.
a bunch of scientists coming in, and a
Yeah.
scientist who was known for aeronautics.
Yeah.
Say
Yep.
Reed Richards is an aeronautic scientist.
Exactly. That's
But-
what I was saying.
But is it going to be a new Reed Richards, like maybe John Krasinski as Reed Richards, or is it going to be the Reed Richards from the Fox universe?
That's a
You know
good
what I
point.
mean?
I thought the Fantastic Four movies were awful.
They're not that bad. They're not
I thought
not
they were
great.
bad.
I don't think they're that bad. They're better than DC movies.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fair.
I mean,
On the show though.
The reboot was bad.
what's that?
The reboot was bad.
Yeah,
I said John Krasinski's already on this show though.
John Krasinski.
Yeah, Asian.
Asian
dude?
Jim.
Oh, Asian Jim. Okay. I mean, he hasn't been confirmed that he's even playing Reed Richards, but that's been the rumor for like 2 years.
George,
I mean, it's been.
George, did you see the meme about John Krasinski being both in WandaVision and hosting SNL in the same week?
Yeah, I saw that. That's pretty funny.
Oh, that was pretty good. All right, let's get back into WandaVision.
Hey, real quick, his episode of SNL was like one of the funniest ones they've had in years. I mean, he had some really funny stuff in that.
I have to watch it.
And he
Yeah,
did
it's
the
pretty-
gym stare,
Yeah, he did the gym before he ended up making out with Pete Davidson,
yeah,
which was very
wow.
strange. Yeah.
yeah.
So back to WandaVision. But you can see how with WandaVision, like you kind of get off all these tangents because it's just this crazy, collection of things happening. Let's go back to the beginning of the episode. So we see the kids, they age up from like toddlers to 5-year-olds. And then we get
Babies
the 80s.
to toddlers?
I'm sorry?
From babies to toddlers?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant toddlers to 5-year-olds. Did I say babies to toddlers?
No. I'm saying you mean to say babies to toddlers because toddlers are like 5 years old.
Oh. Oh, I thought a toddler was like a little kid. Okay. I mean, it's still a little kid,
It
but
is, but
like,
not a baby.
That's a baby.
okay.
It's
Well,
semantics, but anyway, go ahead.
they go from 0 to 5. I'll do the math part. Um, real fast, and then we get the '80s theme, which the show kind of looks like Family Ties, but then it like the theme song sounds like Growing Pains. I don't know if y'all have
Yeah.
seen those shows, but like it's definitely a take on that stuff. There's even some like Full House looking stuff, especially with when they're outside.
Yeah.
Like they really nailed the way those shows looked and felt, just like they did with the '50s and '60s and '70s. So that was no surprise. Um, the next part we get is so Monica Rambeau. She's back from
The
Westview,
hex.
the Hex, right? And they're questioning her and asking her what happened. And then we have a scene where she's with the doctors, and the doctor is like saying, "Hey, your labs are really strange." And so I guess my question is, does she have powers now?
Yep.
Or did she have powers, or what's the deal with that?
She has powers. Like it seems like I don't know if you saw that X-ray. You could see her neck, and then everything else is just white.
Exactly. Yeah.
So her mom was called Photon. Um, is Monica going to become Photon? You
Possibly.
think?
I think so. That's the way it's pointing.
Let Frank go into this.
No, this is a whole new spin. Like, I mean, I don't know where they're gonna take this because like in this incarnation of this show, she helped create Shield. I mean not Shield, Sword.
Right.
And and she didn't co-create Sword in the comic book, so this could be a whole new different origin story. Um, now, what caught my attention is when Wu mentioned Captain Marvel and her face.
Yeah.
So does she not know that Captain Marvel was alive?
Probably not because she was in the whole snap, right?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a sense of like either bitterness
Yeah.
because obviously her mom and Captain Marvel were like best friends, whatever. And there's definite bitterness in the sense that obviously Monica didn't get a chance to say goodbye to her own mom. And then it's like, well, where has Captain Marvel been? And like, has she come? Does she even know that Monica was gone or came back? And it's like, what's going on there? And yeah, you're right. She at mere mention of Captain Marvel, she's like, yeah, we're not talking about her right now.
She seems like she's upset with her or something, like maybe for not being able to save her mom or something happened in the past that we have no idea.
Or not
Maybe.
being there, period.
Other like extraterrestrials and doing stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because she been gone because Captain Marvel left what 93, and she ain't come back until Affinity to Endgame, and by that time, Monica had already vaporized. So
Right.
That was another theory that I was reading about that they said that supposedly what are those people called? Not the people, the aliens that were
Skrulls.
oh,
the scrolls. So supposedly in Spider-Man 3, that when he mentioned Captain Marvel, Spider-Man mentioned Captain Marvel to what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson's character,
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. She mentioned it to him, which was really a scroll back then. He's like, don't mention that name or something like that. He got upset about it. So I think like something happened in between that time that
Okay.
the scrolls have a beef with her, and
Yeah.
how her daughter does as well. I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure we're gonna find out.
That would make sense.
invasion.
There you go.
That would make sense because even in Endgame, Captain Marvel made reference about like there's a lot going on throughout the universe, not just what we were seeing in that storyline with Thanos. She hinted that there was a lot going on beyond. So yeah, I mean, we've talked about this time and time again that Marvel has just done an incredible job with putting out individual stories, but it all comes together in the very end. Like
Crazy.
it's very well done.
Yeah. But I think that like Monica doesn't like Captain Marvel, kind of like why I don't like Captain Marvel. She just thinks the movie's overrated. So I think that's what it is. And I think a lot of people are, like, hey, this made $1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
So aside from Monica's labs being strange, kind of on topic of the lab, we find out that Wanda actually stole Vision's body
Yep.
from the sword facility. And I mean, obviously, I think that shocked probably everyone. But the very fact that Vision, it didn't shock you, George? Okay, well, we'll get there in a second. But the very fact, to me, that Vision's body was in pieces, right? And it's like, okay, they're obviously either trying to just figure out, how this guy functioned, how he came to be, what have you. But the very fact that like Wanda, I'm assuming, knew that Vision didn't want to be, I don't know, taken from wherever he was or violating whatever living will he had. But like she is such in a state of grief. Like she wants what she wants and she's going to do whatever it takes to get it. So why were you not surprised about Vision being in the state?
Because like why would they have the body? Like, I don't know. I think they're experimenting and doing stuff and making weapons.
Okay.
Or doing stuff, and that's why she went in there to break him out. And to like have like they're still doing all this stuff to him, and like she wants to grieve. Like how is she supposed to do that if they're like have him in the lab?
She wants to grieve, or she wants to bring him back and recreate.
Oh, either that, both. Both.
But George, you saying that it didn't click because even with director Hayward, there was a moment when Wanda finally came out of the hex, right, with the 80s drone, tossed it at them. She's like, you leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. And the way that she was speaking to the director, it's as if she already knew who he was, right? And because we had no knowledge if she's worked with him before, what have you, but she addressed him as director, and obviously, with her mind powers, turned all sword guys on him with the guns, right? So if they're experimenting on Vision to turn him or whatever is left of him into a weapon, yeah, it would be at Hayward's or whatever his name is command. Like that makes a lot of sense, George. I'm glad you actually said that because that never crossed my mind.
He just looked at it.
Here's my question: how the fuck did they get his body anyways? Like last week, remember he got killed by Thanos in Wakanda.
Yeah.
How the fuck? Like the U.S. government doesn't have jurisdiction in Wakanda. How did they get his body in the first fucking place?
That's a good question. I mean, like also when they're talking about Captain Marvel, they say like, oh, Wanda could have taken out Thanos, and they say, well, but then Captain Marvel almost did. How do they know that? How did they see that? Besides watching the movies, how would they know that happened? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really make any sense.
Also, like so the timeline here is was throwing me off because when Monica comes back or whatever from the snap or what the blip, like she meets with Hayward, right?
Yeah.
They know each other.
They do know each other because Monica grew up with sword because her mom, established it, right? So it seemed to me that it would have been Monica who would have been director of sword after her mother passed.
So when did Wanda take the Vision's body though? It had to have been during that time.
Hayward had said from the time that we're watching the episode, it happened 9 days prior.
9 days, yeah.
Okay, so that's the thing. So he didn't tell Monica about it.
Right. So the little research that I've done from the time that Monica came back to the time that she first enters sword, it was 3 weeks. So it was a very short amount of time. Consider the fact that Wanda and everyone else who came back from the blip, Tony's funeral, what have you. It's a very short amount of time from Endgame's end and the beginning of WandaVision.
Yep.
So 9 days before. That's
So why didn't he tell her? Like if he's
why
not
didn't he tell her? Right.
Sketchy.
Good question.
Right. Great question.
That guy definitely has like future villain vibes going. And maybe he's a villain in the comic books, I'm not sure, but like he definitely seems like he's gonna break bad.
Definitely. There's more to him than I think we're seeing right now. I'm also curious if now that we're talking, if he and Agatha, whatever her name is, maybe if they're in cahoots.
Yeah, Agnes.
Quite possible.
Maybe.
A team up. Or he might not even be bad, dude. He might just be doing like another like Civil War type thing where they want to take control of, like,
Yeah,
they just want to be safe. So
that's true.
I don't know. We don't know. The
Maybe.
government's pretty crazy in the MCU, so.
Yeah, thankfully not in our world. It's not. Thankfully everything's.
I'm so glad I did not take a
we're-
sip out of my
We're
drink.
living like in a nirvana right now. It's kind of amazing. Anyway.
You mean a Novrin? Sorry, that's a U reference in case y'all out there have no idea what I'm talking about. Can't wait for that show to come back.
Yeah, me
Once
too.
Dalia died, I stopped watching, and then his real career ended off screen. So
Yeah, it actually did.
it's a rough spot for me. Um,
Hey, man.
so
Women, man, it's not cool.
yeah. So back to WandaVision. The boys find the dog. We mentioned this earlier. They then age themselves from 5 to 10. The dog eventually dies, which, as Vision points out, pretty rare that you get a dog and bury a dog the same day. Kind of strange.
And if that actually happens in real life to anyone out there, I am so sorry. That's rough. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
man.
I mean, you save a lot of money on like food and stuff for the dog, but I mean,
It's awful.
I'm looking for the positive. Okay, like it's a cloudy day here in Houston. I'm looking for a silver lining. That's all I'm doing, y'all. Y'all know that.
What the fuck?
God.
I have no
You
question
know.
for Frank.
There's vet fees. There's all kinds of stuff you'd say. Oh, go ahead.
Frank, did you read the comic book, like anything to do with Vision?
No, so Wanda and Vision, like those solo comic books or those comic books together, I've never read. I've only read like the Avengers comic books, X-Men. So like comic books that Scarlet Witch was featured in. I never read her like her solo series. or
Okay.
solo series. No, so this is
Like,
all.
he had a connection with that dog and he brought it like back to life or something like that, and then it became like a superhero dog. It ate something and it became like a superhero dog.
No,
And then it
no,
got really dark.
that I don't know anything about. So like all the characters like Agnes and all these different characters, I remember from like, the Avengers comic books from like the 60s and stuff. Like I remember those, but like the feature stories, those solo series, I never read.
Interesting. That's
If
crazy.
you're interested in super canines, check out Crypto. That was Superman's dog in the comic books.
Crypto was dope,
Yeah,
bro.
Crypto was dope. Yeah.
Oh, this is a real thing. I thought you were making a joke.
Yeah, he's
No,
a dog with a Superman cape with superpowers. Not kidding.
Wait,
It's pretty ridiculous.
wasn't that in Titans?
Yeah, Superboy. Yeah, George. He's in season 2 of Titans.
I knew it.
Yeah, Crypto's in Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, wait a minute, I've seen that before.
Y'all gotta get on Titans, man. I've been trying to get y'all on Titans for the last 2 years, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it. It's on HBO Max now, so I can watch
It's
it.
good.
Finish it, bro.
He's on
Finish
there.
it.
He's on there.
Okay, that's right. Because Superboy is more attached to Crypto than like Superman is,
Yeah.
and it's so weird how like Superboy is a different character from Superman in some
Yeah.
instances. Yeah,
Because Superboy is a clone, so
right.
he's a clone of Lex Luthor and Superman.
Yeah,
So he has
Connor Kent, right?
and Superman's
Yeah.
strength.
Okay.
It's a good show, guys. You should watch it.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Back to WandaVision.
Back to WandaVision, but let's stick with the dog here, because Brittany, I want to get your take on this. Where, you know, like I said earlier, like the dog turns up dead in Agnes' bushes, and in Agnes's bushes. I'm sorry, I think it's Agatha. I can't. Agatha, if she's playing a character named Agatha, but her name's Agnes, it's very close. It's very confusing.
Frank and I are on the same wavelength right now.
Oh, with the bushes. I got you. I mean,
Trying to be good, man. I'm trying
maybe there's no bushes. Who knows? We don't know. That's probably season 2. That's probably season 2 before we find out. But anyway, the dog, it's dead, and the boys are distraught, and Wanda grabs them. She's like, "Don't age up to, so that you don't feel this. Like, don't do that." They try to get her to bring the dog back to life. And Brittany, what do you think about her advice to the kids?
So keep in mind that this scene happened after she came out of the hex and basically told everyone to leave her alone. I'm never going to lose what I've lost once before. And So keep that in mind, right? Well, she tells the boys, you can't age up just to escape this feeling. We have to deal with things that are difficult, and we lose uh, people or things or whatever that we love, and we can't bring them back. And I'm thinking to myself, but did you though? Like
You're
you
a hypocrite.
you stole Vision's disassembled body to try and resurrect him, to live out this fantasy that would never become a reality. And how she even birthed those kids, because Monica does say that they're actually hers, which is crazy. But the very fact that she's telling the boys, hey, you need to feel this way, right? But Wanda doesn't want to feel that way.
Well, in Wanda's defense, Sword does not own Vision. She owns Vision. That's her bottom. That's her man. So she stole her man back technically.
Yeah.
Now it'd be crazy if they do like a R-rated version of like Fatal Attraction. What if Vision wanted to break up with Scarlet Witch right before Endgame? and now she's stuck with this motherfucker, and now he can't leave. That would suck.
That'd be funny.
He's stuck with these fucking 2 kids and shit, and he's stuck in suburbia with no fucking other kids, no other human beings around.
That'd be
Jesus.
funny.
That's awful. Okay, but anyway, yeah, ultimately she's giving advice to her boys that she's not even taking herself, right? She can't let go of the loved one. And the question of, you can do anything, Mom. You can bring back the dead. Oh, you can? So, yeah. Live and let live, Wanda. I mean, you had some good years with Vision. It's unfortunate that he died. You initially killed him first because that's what he wanted to happen, and then Thanos did the time reverse thing, and then he killed him. So, the boy was gonna be dead either way. Deal with it.
Yeah.
That dude died twice
definitely.
in like a span of 30 seconds. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
I should realize that shit.
The very fact that even towards the end after their credits, and that was kind of a nice nod to Marvel always having like an end credit scene between Vision and Wanda, where they both, levitated or whatever, because Vision got really mad with Wanda, and we've never seen that side of him. And he's like, don't try to manipulate me like you've manipulated everyone here, like Norm. We saw Vision, kind of break Norm out of that spell. And I'll come back to that in a little bit, but Vision's telling Wanda, hey, don't manipulate me. And she's like, I'm doing this for us.
Right.
You're my husband, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I don't know who I am. I don't remember anything before coming to Westview, which is heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
But
Wanda
Brittany,
has all these memories, but Vision doesn't.
You thought the credits were like an homage to like the MCU. I don't think so. I think when the credits start rolling, when they're having that argument, she's trying to exert her power because
No. I understand that.
Like back in those days, like whenever the credits rolled, that was the end of the episode. I mean, that's with anything, but like
No. I understand.
She's trying to resolve it that way. Yeah.
No, I understand. But what I'm saying is, in the little trivia that I found, that is like a nod to MCU for always having like an end credit after an end scene after the credits.
Okay.
People always stick around. You even with this show, I'm watching the credits, and I'm like, is there an end scene? Is there something after that? And there isn't. So.
But there hasn't been. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is, how is Vision drawing where is he drawing his power from? The Mind Stone was destroyed.
Probably.
But then it goes back to what we talked about with Shuri. Like, I mean, they got Vision out of Wakanda. Did they get maybe whatever Shuri was trying to download out of Wakanda as well? I mean.
And if they did, they didn't. I'm sure Shuri and those people didn't give it willingly to the government. Like Wakanda's they run on their own accord.
Those damn colonizers.
Right? It's crazy, man.
Sorry.
You're on the bus now, so we don't count you as a colonizer anymore.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So let's talk about the commercial that ran in that episode that caught my attention. That really, to me, my display still after all this time guilt. So in the show, in the middle of the show break, there's a paper towel commercial, and the paper towels are called Legos. from
Is
the
it
city
Lagos or Lagos? Sorry.
Lagos.
Lagos. I'm sorry, Lagos. You're right, Lagos. Which is the city is in Nigeria, which was the setting in the opening scene in Captain America: Civil War, where Crossbones is fighting Captain America. Crossbones says Bucky. Captain America freezes, and Wanda saves Captain America's life by pretty much setting up Crossbones through a building with the bomb infused,
Yep.
and the bomb goes off.
Right.
And the saying for Lago
The paper
Lagos?
towels.
Yeah, for the towels are for when you make a mess that you didn't mean to.
Oops.
Yeah.
So
That was very well done. Like very well placed. Because now we're moving away from the whole Hydra thing, even the Tony Stark, that Toastmaster thing at the very beginning. Now it's something very personal for her, right? Because that was a big turning point for Wanda, because the fact that she felt that I've done something wrong, obviously, and then the whole Sokovia Accords were coming into play, and she didn't want to cause any more damage. She didn't want to cause any more harm, and she ultimately wanted to lead a normal life with Vision. And yeah, I thought that commercial was very well done, very apropos, and it's just so sad. She's got a lot of grief. She's got a lot of hurt, trauma, name it. And this kind of goes into what I wanted to talk about with Norm. So we see in the show a scene between Vision and Norm. They're back at work. They have this new computer, and talking about email and this and that, what have you. And Vision reads off this email from Darcy about this whole anomaly, the spell that the Wanda, what do they call it, the Wanda anomaly? I can't even say that word.
The Maximoff anomaly.
Maximoff, thank you.
Yeah.
And Vision, using his powers, he turns off the computer, and then he goes and touches, the temples of Norm, who's just this happy-go-lucky whatever. You see that quickly shift to someone who's just desperate and like, oh my God, what is happening here? And I've got a take on that, but I want to hear what you guys had to say or think about that. George, I'm gonna start with you. What did you take away from that?
I think that dude was just in pain or something. Like his family probably died in the blip or like before that, and he's still living with it. And then now he just randomly shows up with Wanda and is under her control. Or honestly, it might not even be Wanda. She said her control, which it might be Agnes doing this too. So we don't know.
That's true. That was pretty ambiguous. Frank, your thoughts on Norm and all that he had to say about, you need to help us. She's in my head. Where's my phone? I need to call my sister. My dad is sick. Like that. There was a lot to unfold right there.
Yeah, I think that's a shitty way for Vision to find out how fake this world is. And two, it kind of opens up the coldness and Scarlet Witch. Like, she don't give a fuck about anybody's life and what's going on out there except for her and her man.
You don't know yet.
Huh?
We don't know yet. It could not be. It might not be her.
Okay, you know what? And that's a good point. That's a good point. It may not be her, but the way it looks like right now, the optics. I'm going off optics right now. If it is her, that's very fucked up. To grab all these people, to put in your alternate reality, and you're pretty much putting a pause in these people's lives just so you can live out your own. If she is doing that.
So let me kind of take that approach, but put a different spin on it. All the people that are in the hex, what if all these people are experiencing some kind of pain, some kind of trauma, some kind of grief? And you know that age-old saying, misery loves company. So what if all these people that are in the hex are all people suffering one way or another? And Wanda, either be it Wanda or somebody else who's controlling this whole universe, brought them in specifically so that Wanda isn't alone in a way.
Maybe they were all people who died in the blip or in that time period. I mean, the only person that we know is for sure who's living, who's been in there, who came out the other side is Monica. Everyone else, we don't know, their backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Did the beekeeper come back? Not the beekeeper. Well, he was a beekeeper.
Yeah, yeah.
He
You
come
know,
back?
we never saw him
We never
come
saw
back.
him come back. And,
But here's the other thing I want to throw at y'all. The word hex, obviously, that's what Darcy wants to call it, and we keep seeing that hexagon figure in all the intros of the different decades of shows and what have you. That's significant because that has to do with AIM. Is AIM maybe behind this as well, or would Agatha, whatever the fuck her name is, working with AIM to?
see, it's tough. It's tough to do.
It is, but I didn't
Yeah.
say her bushes or anything like that. But anyway, the fact that
But bushes plural? Like, how hairy is this person? You know what I'm saying?
I don't
Go
want to
ahead.
know, Justin.
Yeah.
You can find out for us. Frank, I see you.
Frank can find out.
God. Anyway, but what I'm saying is, what if AIM? There has to be like a villain organization, right? There was Hydra before. What if it's AIM now to Sword, that kind of thing? So
Wait, who the hell is AIM? Say that again.
AIM,
Yeah.
like AIM. I can't remember what they stand for off the top of my head, but I think that's supposed to be like the new evil organization, if you will.
I had no idea.
Advanced idea mechanics.
I had no idea.
That guy.
Yeah.
Which would make sense in a way, mechanics, if they're maybe trying to use Vision as a weapon or something like that. I don't know. Maybe Hayward is working for AIM, but he's the director for Sword and he's got inside intel. I don't know.
Okay.
He
But
just likes acronyms. He's with AIM, Sword, like he's just whatever, like
Yeah.
he took the ACT, yeah.
because LSATs.
Yeah, LSATs, yeah.
No, but in all seriousness, what do you
Got a JOB? Yeah, go ahead.
what do y'all think about the whole bringing in people who are suffering, to be in this whole world? They have some kind of grief. So, does that make sense?
It does. I think that could be a possibility, and maybe she's trying. That would be a point for Wanda of them bringing those type of people in, and maybe she's trying to help them in her own way, in her messed up way.
Yeah, they live in this like fantasy TV world where everything's kind of okay. Nothing really bad happens,
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a theory.
It's a
No,
possibility.
that's something I brought up last week as well. With the whole people who are in pain in this alternate world. It is we don't know enough yet to really know. And George, thank you for stopping me on that because it does look like it's Wanda, but it could be the show, purposely steering in that direction to make it seem like it is her when it's really not. But I do think Agnes plays a bigger role in this for sure. I want to see how these kids are going to be like post, like are they going to stick around? After all of this is.
So,
Well,
Frank, in the comic books, her kids end up having like superpowers, right? And
they become they become members of the new Avengers. It's the Young Avengers team.
Young Avengers, yeah.
Yeah, so they're on there. I forgot how they were born. They might have been conceived through the House of M series. The House of M series is when Scarlet Witch she had some type of like PTSD to where 98% of the mutants in the world lost their powers, and that was a great comic book series.
That's interesting because like Professor X is supposed to be like connected to all mutants through Cerebro, so like for her to have more or less the same kind of effect without Cerebro, like wow.
Yeah, she's more powerful than Charles Xavier because not only she's a kinetic, she can warp reality.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a comic book where the One Above All, who's the most powerful entity in Marvel, depowered Strange and Scarlet Witch because they were becoming too powerful. So she's a powerful motherfucker, man. She's on her like powered up. Can't too many people fuck with her.
We mentioned the word we mentioned Scarlet Witch a lot, but as they point out in this episode, she's never really been called that in the MCU. Because Hayward, he asks Monica at one point, he's like, does she have any kind of funny nickname or moniker or whatever? And they say no. So I wonder with Quicksilver joining the show, maybe like having other mutants will bring that that mutant moniker. Maybe Magneto will give her the Scarlet Witch name, or someone else from the mutant world will be the one that coins that phrase or something. You know what I mean?
Are we gonna get the Negasonic teenage warhead, whatever her her name was? God.
I hope so.
She's funny.
It's a new character too. Like she came out like 8 years ago. She's a brand new Marvel character.
Yeah.
Superhero,
Gotcha.
Warhead, whatever her fucking name.
Whatever, it's the mouthful of a name, Jesus.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm very excited to see like what this episode, this upcoming episode is gonna reveal with WandaVision. We talked about this before. It started off slow, but it's holding up. It certainly is holding up and telling a great story.
Yeah. We got 4 more episodes to go. So.
And then we get into Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
And speaking of that, good transition, Brittany. Did y'all see the Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer that dropped during the Super Bowl? And what'd you think about it? Yeah, what'd you think about it?
Dude, I'm feeling this odd couple vibe between these two motherfuckers, dog. I'm so ready to see this shit play out on screen. And like you saw glimpses of it in Civil War, but let's get Anthony Mackie and what's the other guy's name?
Sebastian Stan.
Yeah.
Get them on camera at the same time with some of the scenes I saw in that trailer. I can't wait.
It's magical.
Like this one scene where like they're in a therapy session and they have to stir off. Like I can't wait, and the action looks dope as fuck too. I can't wait to see what role this is gonna play in the cinematic universe on the big screen.
I'm excited to see Falcon wield Captain's shield. I mean, to be able to toss it the way that Cap would toss it, and just how is that going to be received in that world? Post Captain America, it's going to be amazing. I know it's going to be amazing, and their chemistry together, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, it's just fantastic. I love the scene in Civil War where they're fighting Spider-Man, and finally Falcon sends off Spider-Man with one of his little bird things, and it's like, you couldn't have done that sooner. I hate you. Their chemistry is just amazing.
That scene was dope, and then like the other scene where Captain America is meeting Sharon Carter at the pickup, and then the buggy, and like I think Mackie was in the front seat, and like in the back seat, Sebastian's like, hey, can you please move your seat up? He's like, no. and then like afterwards, when they start kissing Captain America and Sharon Carter, they both in the car like, yeah. I just love their chemistry together, man. They got great chemistry.
They do. They really do. And the fact that she's also in this show too, I was just like, holy shit, right? Like that's her.
Yep.
That is her.
Yep.
She's a busy little bee. She's a busy bee because she's also on this show called The Resident. She plays a nurse on the show.
She was on the show, what was it called? Revenge or something like that?
She was on that show, yeah.
My mom was like totally into that show. She just thought it was great. And then she saw her, the actress in Avengers or whatever movie it was. And she's like, oh, I know her. Like she was super excited. And I'm like, okay.
She's a good actress. She's a good actress.
It's going to be very interesting to see, what storyline and all that transpires there too.
So is the villain in that show gonna be the guy from Civil War? Because it seemed like the guy was still alive, and that's him.
Yeah.
Zemo, Baron von Zemo. Yeah.
I love Daniel Bruhl. I just think he's a phenomenal actor. I absolutely loved him in Inglourious Bastards. He did very well in
Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
What was that? Damn, he does a good job.
Oh man, dude is like multilingual. He speaks Catalan, Spanish, German, French, English, probably Russian. He's fantastic. I think he's a great actor. So to bring him back as the villain, because he was, imposing as Bucky, during Civil War, it's gonna be great to see what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to wear his purple mask from the comics, which I didn't know much about. And also from the comics, one of my friends told me this, that in the comics, he used the super serum on himself. Mm-hmm. So he'll be super powered just like, everyone else, basically. Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yep.
And
I'm just excited.
I think it's Sebastian Stan's new haircut, too. I like it. It's grown on me.
He's everyone was saying he could have been the Mark Hamill stand-in for Luke Skywalker at the end of Mandalorian, because he does. He looks extremely like Mark
He does
Hamill.
look a lot like him, yeah.
A lot like him. Same butt chin and everything. Like, it's just spot on.
He kind of sounds like him too. In a
He
weird
kinda
way.
does.
Like, yeah, it's kind of uncanny.
Hmm.
Like the only thing I didn't like about the commercial is it was like so short. It was only like a 30-second ad or a minute, and then but it told you to like, hey, for more, go to the social media or go to Marvel.com or whatever.
Yeah.
And I really wish they would have shown the whole 2-minute trailer, because
Always leave them wanting more.
yeah, but like whatever I don't know what y'all think, and we'll get into this right now. I mean, the other Super Bowl commercials were not that great. I mean, were there any ones that y'all caught your eye that you want to talk about? Because
I didn't watch Super Bowl.
It was a
I was
pretty
doing
weak slate.
accounting homework.
They weren't
Okay.
that great this year, honestly.
I heard the game wasn't even good this year, so.
Wasn't.
No, the game wasn't good.
I think I stopped watching after this halftime show. I didn't watch the second half.
I heard that wasn't even good either. Halftime?
I don't mind it.
The halftime show,
You're a weekend fan.
his mic was low though. Didn't y'all think so? Didn't it sound like it was like a weird mix, or you couldn't really hear him that well? I didn't think so.
Yeah, it seemed like it seemed like it was kind of low.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed it. I knew all the songs, so.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine halftime show. I just don't know why the mics weren't figured out, because you couldn't really hear it that well. So there was no other Super Bowl commercial y'all want to highlight or mention, or?
Oh wait, well I've seen it because I'm watching other television, but the State Farm commercial that's got what's his name, Aaron Rodgers and
Patrick Mahomes.
And then Drake as a stand-in. I was like,
but Aaron Rodgers stand-in is what's his name?
Cheesehead. Discount double check.
No, but it's also Paul
Rudd.
Man. Paul Rudd's in it. Yeah.
Paul Rudd was Patrick Mahomes stand-in.
Right, he
I'm
was
like,
standing. Yeah,
what?
yeah. That was
That
pretty
was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
So
I thought that. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. So some of the photos leaked on the new Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just
We've got some Tom Holland.
Yeah, I don't know where they're shooting at,
Okay.
but yeah. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
I think they've been shooting that movie for a while.
They have.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They keep pausing because of COVID.
Yeah.
That damn COVID.
Yeah.
Now we got a new strain to worry about.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing this for quite some time.
To finish the show, like, I don't think this next thing's as bad as COVID, but we'll see. So there's more news from the Snyder Cut, the Justice League movie. Jared Leto's Joker is going to be in the Snyder Cut. And I don't know if y'all saw this. It came out yesterday, early this week.
Looked awful.
They released photos of Jared Leto's Joker. But get this, y'all. Even though it's in the same universe and it's the same actor playing the Joker looks completely different. He actually looks like the Joker.
So he's not like all grilled up and
grilled up.
thug.
He's got
hair.
He's got the long Jared Leto 30 Seconds to Mars hair.
Is it green?
The photo is black and white, so it's hard to tell. But I think it's funny because the Snyder, like, even Zack Snyder admitted that this is like a new scene. They just shot this the last few months,
Oh my god.
but I want to read this to y'all because I thought this was hilarious. This is from DCComics.com, and Zack Snyder is talking. He's the director of the Snyder Cut. He's talking about his decision to add the Joker to this movie. So he says, the cool thing about the scene is that it's the Joker talking directly to Batman about Batman. It's Joker analyzing Batman about who he is and what he is. That's the thing I also felt like the fans deserve from the DC universe. That is to say, the Jared Leto Joker and the Ben Affleck Batman, they never really got together. It seemed uncool to me that we would make it all the way through this incarnation of Batman and Joker without seeing them come together. Now the part I really want to highlight, he says, it seemed uncool to me that they would make it all the way through this incarnation of Batman and Joker without seeing them together. Okay, I want to remind y'all that Justice League is only the second appearance of Batman in this universe. The Snyder Cut is a remake of Justice League. So what the hell are you rushing to get to? What do you mean? Like, it's the second damn movie. It's just like how, like, the sequel to Man of Steel was a movie where Batman hates Superman. Like, this whole thing is just fucked. Like, it doesn't make any, like, he's like, I can't believe after all this time we haven't seen the Batman and Joker. We haven't seen Batman with anybody except for fighting Superman like a moron. Like, none of it makes any sense at all.
And again, you want to watch this.
It's
so
like
we
a
can
car crash.
review our ranking.
At this point, I have to watch it because so many people like wanted to see this version of this movie, and it's like,
Why?
There's no way it's going to be good. There's no way it's going to be good.
So did the Joker come out in the original Justice League movie?
No, he wasn't in the movie. He was in Suicide Squad, which came after Justice League. And Batman was in that movie, but they weren't in the movie together.
Oh my God.
But like I said earlier, Jared Leto's Joker was a different looking Joker. He had a grill. He had like something tattooed on his head. He has really short hair. Doesn't look like Joker at all. Like, I don't understand it. I don't like.
I felt like in that scene, Batman just beats the shit out of him.
You know, I bet they don't. I mean, so it's a reshoot, right? So I bet that Ben Affleck and Jared Leto weren't even in the same room. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, I bet
like Homelander and A-Train when they were shooting their movie.
Right. Exactly. No, and I think I don't think Ben Affleck is wearing the Batman costuming. It's definitely going to be a stunt double or a body double in the suit. And I'm sure we never even see Batman's face. We probably just see Batman from behind as I don't know. At this point, it's like a car crash. I'm gonna have to watch it.
You're not selling me on wanting to watch this, by the way. I mean,
I'm confused. So this the Batman series with Robert Pattinson, is that a separate world as well?
Separate, yeah, it's separate.
Remember, because he's vengeance.
In the Joker's movie, that's a separate world as well.
That's a separate world too. Yeah.
Thank God.
And Shazam's a separate world as well.
No, Shazam is within that world.
Within that world.
But it's okay. So I've heard the new head of DC. So the guy that was in charge of DC whenever these movies came out, they fired his ass because obviously the movies didn't do very well. So the new guy that's come in, he said, okay, like, we know it's confusing, but the way to look at it is like Zack Snyder's Justice League is like a cul-de-sac in the DCEU, meaning like you can drive into a cul-de-sac, but you make the little turn and you're out of the cul-de-sac. You just drive in there and you drive out. So what he's saying is like, we're going to continue with Shazam and Wonder Woman and Aquaman and all these other characters, and they're going to continue with this DCEU, whatever that is. But this movie here is not going to like go anywhere else besides like if you're going in a cul-de-sac, you go in there and you go out.
That's so stupid, dude.
So this is why I get confused and I get kind of annoyed. They say DCEU,
right?
But Wonder Woman, Aquaman, outside of the Justice League movie, that's a cul-de-sac now apparently.
Right.
The only other movie that had any other characters outside of said characters was Batman vs Superman.
Right. Yeah.
But
I know.
but it's all the same universe. I don't understand.
It is though. I don't know. You're right, but it's like it is the same universe, but they're clearly admitting that our universe is fucked up because that's why we're not including the other characters in these solo movies because we want to try to make these solo movies good. I mean, that's really what they're saying. Is that they're saying like we made a mistake by giving this guy control of all of our characters, and we're trying to dig out of that hole. But we're still in the hole, right? But we're trying to like look up instead of look down.
It's like we're still digging down in the hole.
Right.
Because my thing
virtual dirt turnover.
Because my thing is, if you're so horrible at writing,
go ahead.
My thing is, if you're so horrible at like creating continuity within the same world,
Right.
Just have movies and have other characters feature in it. So like the Aquaman movie where he's fighting, for his home, his land under the sea. Like have Flash show up or like some random character show up to show me that okay, this is the same world. This is a big apocalyptic
Clusterfuck.
going on.
Yeah.
'Cause I find it weird that these huge apocalyptic events that's going on in DCU and no other characters are around for it. Like
Right.
like the ocean was in danger and like nobody showed up. Nobody was there to back them up. Even Civil War, where everything's going on, you at least had Black Widow and Tony Stark and other characters.
But
Like
Frank, they had Gotham and Metropolis right by each other.
and nobody showed up. Superman didn't show up. I mean, nobody showed up.
I mean, you could be living in Gotham and order Grubhub from Metropolis, and they would like bring it up. They would be like, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Like,
God, this is awful.
Like Shazam. I like Shazam, but that shit that was going on in Shazam, and Superman shows up at the end of the movie. Why didn't he show up in the middle of the movie to help out Shazam? Have somebody come in. These are huge events to be happening for no other superheroes to show up to help out.
He showed up for lunch.
That's important.
He literally showed up for lunch. That was it.
Good.
I don't know, man.
The thing is, the Flash movie that apparently is coming in the next couple of years, that's going to be supposedly the one that cleans up all the mess.
Oh, good.
Because it's going to be the Flashpoint storyline where we're going to have like Michael Keaton's going to be the '89 Batman, and they're basically going to take all of their other properties and put them all in this movie and try to explain why Ben Affleck is Batman, but then also Michael Keaton's Batman, but also Robert Pattinson's Batman.
So they're putting all their eggs in one basket and
in one basket with the Flash. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing though, Justin. The reason why Flashpoint works in the comic books and the cartoon is that all the other characters were established, so we knew what they were. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of hard to do a Flashpoint and have no jumping off point with any of these characters.
Yeah.
Justin, guys, did you hear about like the controversy or whatever between Cyborg and like the head of DC?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what happened with that?
There was like allegations that he was like treating the employees like shit and just like sexual harassment stuff and a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah, it was.
But the guy got fired from the movie.
Yeah, he's going to be in. So Ray Fisher played Cyborg. He was in Justice League, but he's going to be more prominently featured in Zack Snyder's version of the movie. He's alleging all this stuff against Joss Whedon, who's brought in to fix the Justice League movie we talked about last time. And yeah, a lot of this stuff was like, Joss Whedon is not a good guy from all accounts, and so, he's going to be in the Snyder Cut. I don't know.
But suppose like he was supposed to get like a standalone or something like that. That shit's cut off. Like he's not.
Yeah, right. You're right. He was
nothing.
Right. Originally, he was going to have his own movie, which again, like Frank's saying, like why not have all these solo movies before the Justice League? So that we establish who these why do we care about these people? We don't even know who they are.
That would make too much sense.
Yeah.
Like
instead,
that would be following in MCU's footsteps, and they have to be different.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Instead, they kill Superman in the sequel of Superman of the first movie, and at the end of the movie, they show his casket. Like they show the dirt move, right? Yeah. You're thinking, oh, Superman's still alive. No, in the next movie, they have to like dig up Zod's dead body, or no. They have to dig up. They have to find the mother box to bring him back to life.
Wait, Superman's not in the Justice League movie?
He comes in later because he died in the previous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he died in Batman.
Spoiler alert, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah.
George, you're not missing anything. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm gonna watch the Snyder Cut just because it seems so stupid. And
if you're gonna do that, you've seen Man of Steel, right?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen Batman vs Superman?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. Have you seen the Ultimate Edition, which is 3 hours long?
Fuck no. Why would you? No.
It's on HBO Max. You've got to watch it. Those 30 minutes changed the world. No, I'm kidding.
I was like, really?
No, but honestly, it is better. Like, it's a better movie, but it's
I don't believe
But it's
it.
not.
no. I mean, trust me, it's better. Like, it's a better movie. So what you should do is definitely watch the Ultimate Edition, and then watch the Justice League that's on HBO Max right now, and then that way we can compare it with the Snyder Cut.
I don't want to watch the Justice League twice, so I'll wait.
No, no, but get this: the Justice League that's out right now is only 2 hours long.
That's 2 hours that we're never going to get back.
Yeah, that's too
The
long.
Snyder Cut is 4 hours.
Still not going to watch it.
I'll wait for that one.
Nope.
You'll wait for the 4-hour one?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't want to watch the same movie twice. I'm sure he's gonna be clipped and use like some scenes from everything, right? I'm guessing.
I think it's actually going to be a lot different.
Is he gonna recycle scenes that were shot in that movie?
Yes, the scenes that he shot that weren't used in the Joss Whedon movie are going to be used in his movie. And he said, go ahead, what?
I am appointing you to be the sole watcher to watch the Snyder Cut and report back to us.
That's fair. I'll do it.
Okay.
I'm going to watch it for sure. But like I told you last week, it's the same weekend as Falcon and Winter Soldier. It's the same day, basically. It's like,
Thank God.
In the movie, and just so I can get this clear,
yeah,
Snyder's not using any of Josh Whedon's footage.
that's what he said.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
he's not using it. Yeah, so it's going to be all of his stuff that Joss Whedon thought sucked is what Zack Snyder is going to have his movie be.
Okay.
So it could possibly be like a completely different movie.
It's going to be a lot different, I think. I mean, there's some stuff that obviously will be the same, but there's going to be a lot of stuff that's different. Like the fact that like the main villain in this whole series wasn't in Joss Whedon's version of the movie. Like DC's Thanos, who's Darkseid, he didn't appear in the movie, but he's going to be in Zack Snyder's movie. So it's a crazy story. Like it's the fact that it's happening is like insane. So I'm going to watch it.
All right. I'll watch it.
And that's March 18th, so we've still got some time before then. But
Hard
before
pass.
yeah. But before that, we got 4 more episodes of WandaVision, and so we'll be back next week to talk about it. Hopefully, Nathan will be with us. He was not a part of this episode; he's on assignment, and I missed getting his take because he knows more about the mutants. As he said last week, he's the mutant whore. So he
X-Men whore.
X-Men whore. I'm sorry, I'll get that right. He's the X-Men whore.
I'm gonna make a T-shirt.
That would be cool. Yeah.
X-Men whore.
Yeah. So, do y'all have any parting words? Anything you want to say before we sign off?
I am not an X-Men whore.
Go ahead, Frank.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi, yeah.
Yeah. So he said that Korg will premiere and will be back for Thor: Love and Thunder. I know it's minor news, but I fucking
Yay.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's good.
I love that character.
Right?
That's a movie we're all gonna watch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I can't fucking
For
wait.
sure. Still
Okay,
waiting on Black Widow.
Yeah,
Still
May.
waiting on Black Widow.
May. We'll see it in May. Hey, Brittany, how can people find us on social media?
Very simple. Just find us by typing in Watchers in the Basement on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel just in case you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell so you can be the first to find out the latest upload from us. Also, if you're not into video podcasts, that's cool. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever it is that you want to listen to audio podcasts. We are on there thanks to anchor.fm. We love those guys because it makes podcasting really simple. So, all that being said and done, also don't forget to tweet at us using the hashtag WatchersBasement and let us know what it is that you want us to review. Hopefully it's not the Zack Snyder cut because I'm not watching it.
I'm talking about it. Even if I'll talk to myself about it. I don't care.
That's
like I have to
Listen,
talk about it.
Sweetie, as long as you don't answer yourself, then I'm not going to be worried about it.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I'll just say it like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So thanks, Brittany. So for George, Brittany, and Frank, this is Justin signing off. We will see y'all next week. We're out of here. Bye-bye.